Welcome to the Warrior Gamer Headquarters podcast. Lieutenant Colonel Ken Crigliano, your co-host.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tarrin Morgan, aka your favorite fly bald head professor and esports guy. And I'm coming from Morgan State University. I am the founding esports director and head coach. And we got into this space because of the pandemic in 2020. I was tasked with the problem of engaging students at a distance, and esports was that solution. And our first intro into esports was a Call of Duty tournament. We put the team together in a week. Everybody looked at us as the underdog, and we actually came in and won the championship. And fast forward today, we now have 8 championships, won over $350,000 in winnings, donations from Verizon, including 5 $20,000 scholarships, also a $100,000 esports lab, state-of-the-art environment, and have done research when it comes to K through 12 and collegiate space. And more so recently, it should be released actually today, Mountain Dew has featured our program within esports to elevate that message and to really advocate and get that information out there. So this is Tarrin Morgan from Morgan State University Esports Program, and happy to be here.
That's awesome. I'm already interested right off the bat. I mean,
I knew Bilal was gonna go right off.
Yeah, I was gonna go right off the bat.
Go for it, brother.
We're talking just a couple years, and so much progress has been made. A lot of people are trying to break into esports, be it a collegiate or what have you, and they're not finding a whole lot of success. But from what it sounds like, you have a pretty good foundation. So tell us a little bit about that foundation and how you were able to accrue such success so quickly.
So the main thing that I really always knew was that strategic partnerships are key, no matter what you're trying to do. If you want to go fast, go by yourself. But if you want to go far, go with a team. And for me, it was more so about looking at what I was trying to do, the service, the resources that I'm trying to provide to the students, not trying, but that I am providing to the students, and seeing what organizations, individuals, et cetera, are in alignment with our values. That's going to be a mutual beneficial partnership. So that's been my way of really looking at things. And for me, I'm a tech head. I've been playing video games since I was a little kid with the fatback TV. So for me, I understood the gaming culture, but I had to really step back from it also and be coachable, because coaches, the main thing, you have to be coachable. And for me, I know the business side of things, the students know the gaming side of things, and we just put it together. And it's just been one of those things of trial and error, and it's been working.
Bilal, you got to follow up on that? I know you do.
I'm thinking about it, but I'm gonna hold on for now.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm interested in what first, what's like your age bracket, just so I can kind of bin you.
35.
Okay. So what games did you grow up on that influenced you, not only just because you loved them, but actually helped sculpt your brain's thinking and perspective so that it set you up for success here?
So that first game was Zelda for me, like the one on Nintendo. Like, I'm a Zelda head, Final Fantasy head. Zelda and Tetris, those are the games that really shaped me as a child. And my mother was the one that got me into the space, but my grandma was always the one saying, take that thing off my TV before you break it, because they didn't understand what video games were, or they saw it as a waste of time. But only if we knew back then, I may be in a different space, but everything happens for a reason. Absolutely.
Yeah, I tell people, for all the things that I was like repressed on and dissuaded to do, made my fire more, and so I actually have been trained to thank all of the pains in the necks in my journey. So it looks like, you might be a product of that as well. And I love Zelda, man. I don't hear that much often anymore, and I'm hoping that they'll come out with like a virtual reality version of it or something.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, it would be sick. It would have all of us, from our generation playing that thing, and a movie. That would be cool too.
I'm waiting for that, definitely.
Yeah. So, I'm curious too on, you made a statement on the business aspect and the students and, the youth, the gaming aspect. Can you give me a little bit of background on, I have like a gap here between you grew up gaming and then now, business aspect, and, you're at, Morgan State University, like just crushing it and like literally creating the paradigm for others to follow. If you could just give us, some help on that, that'd be awesome.
So you're talking about more so can you rephrase the question, please?
Yeah. So you grew up playing Zelda, Tetris, Final Fantasy, and now you're at Morgan State University killing it. Yeah. So give me a little bit of in the middle that created that business brain of yours.
Got you. So I've always been a creator when I was younger. Actually, this is very fitting that I'm here. I come from a family of servicemen, and my grandfather was actually one of the first Black Marines. He fought for the right to fight with the Montford Point Marines. So definitely, thank you all for your service. But definitely my grandfather, he really set the tone for me when it came to discipline and building stuff. And with me, I always had like a curious mind. So messing around with electronics, like I would have like the old speaker systems people didn't want, and I would tie them all together and have like 50 speakers together playing music. So that was kind of there. And with me, I wasn't one of those children who stayed to themselves. And with me, video games helped me to create that community, just like I'm doing now. So Pokemon in middle school, meeting up with other people, playing with them, and then high school playing Madden, NBA 2K. So those really are the things that helped me. But at the same time, when you're looking at esports, there's a ton of careers within there, including event production. And one thing for my family, every single year we have a family reunion of about 200 to 300 people. And my immediate family were the ones that were planning it. So I knew the planning phases of how to do this. You get your permits at the park, you set up your theme, your everything. So I learned those skills from there. And my mother was very big on administration. So she always said documentation is key. And that's always been big for me. So with this space, documentation is big because especially when you're looking at sponsorships, they want to see the analytics. They want to see what you're doing. You have to have that proof of concept. You can talk all you want, but if you're not backing it up with that walk, it does not matter at all. So really learning how to use data to my advantage. And then for me, I was a resident assistant in college. So I was a peer advisor. So that means dealing with student issues. I've dealt with a lot. So started with that, and then I went into resident director. So dealing with students with mental health issues, suicidal ideation, homemade weapons, drugs, you name it, I've dealt with it. And those are things that really helped me out to learn student development, which now transfers over into player development. Also looking at thinking on your toes like that. When you're doing a live stream, technology can mess up. You got to be able to pivot and adjust easily. When you're looking at operations, with my role, I actually did operations for a university overseeing $11 million budget. So with that, I understood your line items, how things work. And that helped me to have that fiscal mindset to help us see, okay, this is how you structure a business, and learning about phases. You do things in phases. So phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. And that's helped me out the most because our students are very enthusiastic, but they don't understand that things have to happen between step 1 and step 20. They just want to go and they don't think about it. So that's really where I come into play to teach them those aspects. And really for me, I'm a nerd. I research everything. I'm ingesting information all the time, be it podcast, or I'm researching something. So for me, it's really just being curious, going back to my childhood skill set and gift of being curious and using that to my advantage. So that's really what's helped me out. And then also my higher education master's degree, and then also my administrative science master's degree. That taught me about strategic partnerships. And the biggest thing I learned from my second master's was culture trumps strategy. It does not matter what strategy you have. You can't cure a 2023 disease with 1970s knowledge or technology. You have to evolve with the times. And the pandemic was a perfect example of that. If you were trying to stick with a standard strategy prior to the pandemic, it messed you up. And my favorite line with this, my quote, is Mike Tyson. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. And that's exactly what happened. The pandemic punched a lot of people in the face. So that's really what was big there. And most importantly, resilience, because the pandemic showed who's resilient, who had that heart. And that's really what it takes to build an esports program that has a strong foundation that's going to go high.
Absolutely. I'm already thinking of a few things, but I have to gather my thoughts. First off, I know you mentioned working in residence life. Thank you for that. I actually worked as an RA. I could tell you that just working that job was tough.
No
But
joke.
seeing what the resident directors have to work through, it was something else. So I could definitely see how you learned a lot of skills there. I'm thinking from an organizational standpoint, they're obviously not the first university to have opened an esports programs. Other universities have done so. And so in a way, there was a proof of concept that kind of sort of already existed. So how did you use what they had and kind of integrated it to what you have?
So I'm big on research. So I'll look at someone's page. Okay, what's the style? Because the biggest thing for any business to be successful is your marketing and your branding. So I wanted to see, me being new into the esports space, what do successful teams' pages, the social media pages, their websites, what do they look like? What are the things that are doing well? And I'm a natural creative. I do videography, graphic design. So with me, I always say esports is easy to transition to if you're creative. So really just looking at what everyone else is doing and just doubling and tripling it, whatnot. And really podcasts, that has been my biggest thing to really help me out to stand out from the crowd and to see what everyone else is doing. The main thing is that you can only think to the level of what you've been exposed to. So with me, I just take in information all the time, really. So yeah, it's just been a lot of randomness. But yeah, I just look at people's pages, see what they're doing, and then just put my little spin on it.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, so during this show, I always talk about like golden nuggets that are being dropped. And so like we're a little bit into this, and I have a lot of notes, which is interesting to me and a bit surprising. So I love drawing correlations between the games that people grew up with and the way they operate right now. And if you look at Zelda, like it's this adventure of like discovering things, like very, very strategic in nature. And then the other games are just like, like Final Fantasy, and then you have Tetris, right? Everyone knows. And so you've kind of like fused these things together and are using them right now. Like, don't, rinse and repeat, man. If there's someone who's been successful, do what they do and then adopt it for you and do it better. Right. And I love that. That's a huge thing. That's what I do in my sports is I look at who the best is doing. What are they doing? How can I do the same thing based upon my limitations, my body type, all that stuff. And then you also said, culture trumps strategy. 100%, man. 100%. If you are out there running an organization, the culture flows from the top. Whoever leads that organization sets the culture. Whatever they overlook, whatever they enforce and don't enforce, their standards will flow all the way down, right? And you can only think at the level of which you've been exposed. That's a huge one for me, because the more things that you can get into, the more diverse experiences you are exposed to, the better you can think, the better success that you can have. And it just makes an awesome person. And you, my friend, are like the poster child for it. And I really love it. I have a question. Are kids coming to this school because of your program? I don't think we've asked that, Bilal, yet.
I don't think so, huh?
So the numbers show that, yes, their interest is there. We have over 170 plus students. And we're looking at, on average right now, this past year, we had 70 students sign up. Last year, we were at about 60. So we're increasing slowly but surely. But as it stands, it's just a proof of concept. Morgan State University hasn't made this an official program yet. So the plans that I have to bring in millions of dollars or whatnot, they're still there. And the recruitment piece of that is there also. But as it stands, I'm not able to really recruit right now because it's not an official program. But when it happens, it's on.
So I'm curious too, because I know your brain is already doing this, and I'm kind of like looking this up as I chat, but your ability to create a pipeline. And I think, Bilal, we talked about this with previous guests, and I'll put it in the show notes, but you're gonna bring in youth based upon your program that you've built, but you need that pipeline, right? You need, where do they go afterwards? And so are you actively looking out, or is your brain going on like, okay, I need to put these youth through the next step? Like, can I partner with Activision? Can I partner with, Riot Games or whatever it is? Like, what does that look like for you?
Yep, absolutely. I am looking for a pipeline, not just for gamers, but to build workforce development. Because the main thing is really not everyone's going to be a professional gamer, just like the NFL, the MLB, the NBA, et cetera. So really getting students to understand that their natural God-given gifts will be the things that will allow for them to create their career opportunities. So for me, I do have some strategic partners in place to create those pathways. And right now, my strategy is to build our academic program, which I have developed our first academic program, eSports Broadcasting, into our brand new eSports game development and entertainment technology that I'm currently working on too. So by fusing eSports, the playing side, and also the academic side, we're able to really maximize our reach to get our students out to these different organizations. So we do have some partnerships with some major corporations right now that we're really working on. I don't want to speak anything on it yet, but perfect example of it though, so far, Mountain Dew that we work with. Our Call of Duty team was flown out to Atlanta by an amazing nonprofit called Community, which is all about educating and advocating for HBCU esports. And they run a phenomenal league and everything. We got a couple of championships under the league, not to brag, but, got a couple of championships. But our Call of Duty team was a part of the Real Change Challenge, which was sponsored by Mountain Dew. And with this opportunity, they were competing for a $200,000 prize pool. They won third place and they left with $40,000. And they have the professional network now to help them develop if they want to become a semi-pro or a pro player within that Mountain Dew opportunity right there. So I'm really about creating those opportunities all around, not just the player aspect, but also I want to get you into these STEAM fields because there's a wealth of different positions in here. It's just a matter of information and access to these positions. And that's my role, to make these partnerships with these companies that you spoke about and some others that we haven't spoke about, and to say like, hey, what are the skill sets that you're looking for potential employers? And I'm shaping my curriculum around that so I can say, we got the perfect people. So boom, take them.
I love that. And so I have my two sons, 529s in AI ETFs, in addition to some other ones. And I'm interested to know, like, who is footing the bill for this prize money? Like, and then if you're able to, can you tell me what's their expected return on investment? Why did they put up these funds?
So whoever we partner with, they're the ones that really fit the bill for the prize funds. So
and who
far,
was that? Who was that?
So the last one, so whatever corporation, so the last competition that we played in, it was sponsored by Mountain Dew. So Mountain Dew, PepsiCo, those are the ones that are pushing the prize funds really. So far, a lot of our prize funds have come from Community and their respective partnerships that they have. So they've had partnerships from Hot Pockets to Discovery to Twitch, they're partners with, and also I'm missing Nike. So whoever you partner with, that strategic partnership, whatever you negotiate within that, that's what you get. The main thing I always say to people is you get what you negotiate. And then if you negotiate prize funds, then that's where it comes from. Or it can be other opportunities, or it can be other in-kind donations. So it's really about from corporate partners if you don't have the respective budget under your own space.
So it's interesting the industries that these companies are from that are entering the space. And you're not the first one to say this, but like, I mean, for beverage companies to come in, you'd be like, okay, yeah, they want exposure to the industry, right? But they could run ads within these platforms, right? And they could do other things. But for some reason, like getting into the event space, and Bilal, right? April, Josh, our founder, we are big on like, you have to enter the event space because that's where the energy is. That's where all the sensory material is. That's where the competition is. And when your brand is at the event, it just sinks in more with the people who are there. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of like the exposure that your event and events are getting?
It's getting a lot. So one of the things I specialize, my main role at Morgan State University, I'm the director of marketing and digital engagement. So I'm using all my skill sets in the years of being on the internet, talking about AOL chat rooms, MySpace. So like I'm experienced, you know? So with that, it's all just comes back and utilizing meme culture. People don't realize that meme culture is something big and it's a huge marketing tactic. So with my background within marketing, I'm using all the same tactics to push us forward, and also some strategies that I developed. So for me, the biggest tool to us has been social media. So you're talking about your Twitters, your Instagrams, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you're at, I'm there, except for TikTok because I refuse to learn another one. But yeah, social media has been a big tool for us, and with that a lot of people are seeing us and some strategic tags and whatnot. So it's a lot of like research and also marketing on, within the space.
And how are we looking at it down the road, say 5 years, 10 years, when we compare to traditional athletics like basketball? I believe Morgan State is D1, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'm assuming you get a lot of publicity for basketball. And I'd imagine esports someday is going to kind of get up to that level. So many people, every other friend of mine follows basketball. I play it from time to time. And I can imagine this is going to happen with esports. So what sort of trajectory are you looking at for your own esports program to getting to that level? Because I have a feeling you want to get there.
Oh, absolutely. Once I get the institutional backing, sky's the limit really for this. And with any really successful esports program, they have a particular niche. And for me, since my background is within video, my particular niche is content creation and broadcasting. So I want us to really be strong with that. And we partner with the School of Communications to build our students' portfolio, but also we have an in-house marketing content creation machine right there. So why not utilize that and to help them build their resumes so that they can get these jobs that say you need 5 years of experience with a master's degree. Well, you're working for us right now as an undergrad, so you're getting that experiential experience already. So you have what the resume building stuff already. So that's really the approach I'm looking at, and especially when you're looking at grants. Grants in the educational space are a big, big, big thing. And for me, I want to really look at the future technologies of, how's augmented reality and virtual reality mixing it within the esports space. That's what I really want to look in. And for me, I'm going to be even more deeper into Baltimore because I plan on opening my own STEM education facility within their brick and mortar. So that's going to be there. And then also I have the academic side of things that I built within this space at Morgan State University and the varsity program. So for me, it's more so, we have the collegiate space, but also getting into the community, getting that community engagement to reach out to those individuals, the youth who need something to do to develop the skills, to realize that they have particular gifts that they have not discovered yet. So I want to be there to really help them to shed the things for them to reveal the things that they're good at that's going to allow for them to have those generational changes within their families and to make those changes. Because a lot of times, especially within Baltimore, people look at sports such as basketball and football as ways out. But now we have video games. When you're looking at the stats, about 83% of Black teenagers play video games. So now that's something, right, you have, right? But then when you're looking at the percentage of Black game developers, there's only 2%. So within the tech space, there's a lot of inequities there. So my thing is really us being the ones that's informing the public, the collegiate space, and also offering those access points to create workforce development and to create that shift and to erase the stigma surrounding video games, because that's the main thing right now, that we need a lot of advocacy and education and information out there so people can see and realize the power and benefits of video games, because we're behind in the space. And if we're educated, we know more about it, we're able to take educated, actionable steps towards something greater within the space. So for me, it's more so about leading the charge with content creation, with broadcasting, but also with the community education piece as well.
Oh, sorry, Bilal.
No, go right ahead. I was just kind of thinking out loud.
So our founder, Josh Otero, is incredibly passionate about increasing diversity and accessibility and inclusion within this industry. And that's the first time I heard that stat. And, you know, it's motivating to hear an opportunity, but it's also like flattening to me to know that like so many underrepresented kids don't even seem to see the pipeline to be a developer, yet, you know, a business owner, and like have the vision that you do. You know, is that kind of maybe what you're doing with the STEM?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
I love that. Okay, Bilal, what were you thinking? Because we can go so many places here.
There are so many places, man. Like, because I'm thinking one of the areas that I had a question on was about the right partnerships. You've touched upon partnerships quite a bit. There's one thing I would like for you to expand on. A few episodes ago, we had Dr. Schwartz, or a chiropractor, right? And he was talking about how if you have the wrong people within esports, it's going to show, right?
Mhm.
A lot of people are coming in here for the money, and they don't necessarily see the vision that we see. And they're basically just trying to put their names out there just for the sake of putting their names out there. And then when you're starting off really small, effectively semi-grassroots, but not really, it's almost easy to fall into the trap of, oh, well, this partnership is bringing in money, this partnership is bringing publicity, I'm just going to bring that on. But then long term, that ends up, you know, causing some sort of disastrous consequence. So how do you use your skills, using your mindset and your vision? How do you determine who are the right partners for your mission?
So I'm very big on values, integrity, respect, the honesty, transparency. If you're not there with it, then automatically no. That's something that I take so very seriously, because I don't stand for jeopardizing my integrity or putting my name out there for people who don't believe in having good character. So I'm very big on character. And also I watch what people say, because a lot of people talk, but they don't follow up on those actions. So if I give it like a 3 strikes rule, like if you say you're going to do something, you know, I give some reminders. If it didn't happen, then cool. I'm like, all right, that's something there. You know, if it's something that's serious to you and I'm reminding you about it, then, you know, it should be happening. But I'm also the type that I'm very upfront. I'll tell you, if I don't want to do it, I'm saying no, it doesn't make sense. So my thing is really not being a people person, like saying what needs to be said in order to move things forward. So for me, it's very simple. It's just things like that. And it really has to make sense logically. So say, for instance, if there was a cheese company that wanted to get into space, like cheese sticks, the greatest cheese sticks ever. So I'm going to look at it, right? How is it benefiting gamers? If you're eating trash, that's going to harm your performance. So that's strike one. That's something that's not there. Historically, Black communities, a lot of people are lactose intolerant. So why would I want to connect that right there? So that's another one. So really, that's some of the ways I look at it. It has to have check off some things within my checklist, really. But that's my main thing. I'm very emotionally intelligent. I'm able to read people good. So that's a part of it also. So like, I'm usually able to smell people out like in the first, you know, couple of days.
Right. And this is really important because it kind of springboards into my next topic. You talked about community engagement. And I think the most important thing that you can do with anything is to bring in the community and essentially create change. And one thing I see, and this is something I just thought about, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. So, you know how you can just go to a basketball court anywhere and play for free. You know, so long as you have a basketball, you just go up and do whatever, right? However, those spaces don't exist for video games. Not everybody can afford video games, and those who can, not everybody's allowed to play them, right? I envision that there are going to be gaming cafes in the future that are for the community, not just the kinds of, oh, you pay $1 for an hour playing at a PC cafe. I'm talking for the community, spaces to learn, spaces to compete, spaces to effectively just get off the streets. Because I know where I went to school in Riverside, I saw a lot of people just kind of messing around, doing things that they really shouldn't have been. Gaming could have been a safe space for them. And so what do you see as far as that vision?
That's exactly my STEM education facility right there. For me, like I'm very into helping the youth out. Like my father, my grandfather, they were coaches. So they've been doing the work and it's just passed down to me. That's also why like I'm so passionate. You're talking about my grandfather, he fought for the right to fight. I'm fighting for the right for people to have equitable space within the esports and gaming industry. So it's kind of like the same thing, rinse, repeat, but just like different, same toilet, whatever, different day, really. So the same thing, really. So for me, I do see that that is something that's there, but also it's one of those things of figuring out the locations of where it works at. Also getting to the school systems, which is very important because if the students don't know what's going on or the parents don't know, that's the big thing. And my thing is really educating the parents because the students, they know the benefits of gaming. They enjoy it, they know it, but it's really the parents. Those are the ones that have the funds to buy them the equipment that they need to also help them out with those college applications for game development and whatnot, or to sign them up for STEM camps. So for me, really, I think that the community aspect is going to be very important, and especially integrating that within the K through 12 space.
Yeah, and parents play a central role in this. So how do you educate them?
I think really it's about partnering up with different professional organizations. So like the YMCA, Jack and Jill, utilizing them to spread the word. Social media, people aren't reading books anymore, but they're looking at videos. They're listening to podcasts such as this. So really just talking about it, putting the information out there, spamming the internet with it. So that's kind of like my approach is really with the community engagement piece, but also getting online, meeting people where they are, which is on their phones.
Yeah, well, a lot of the libraries, well, I want to say a lot, many libraries are picking up that slack where they're providing computers. I know my library, we live in the most affluent county in the world, Loudoun County up in Virginia, and our libraries are very well funded. Wish they were a little bit more better run for this kind of stuff. But I mean, we have 3D printers, we have audio, recording studios, and we have gaming computers in there and stuff. And so, it's not like what it should be. It's not a basketball court, on every corner. But I think that if you have the ability to advocate to the government leaders as well, I mean, if you go to the county commission, you foot stomp and you put your foot on desks and stuff, like there is cash there that they should be spending on this space. I mean, in the UK, this was years ago, kids can't graduate elementary school without learning to code. So, I mean, we are way behind in America, and it's really educating those government leaders. I know it because I am in the government. I'm on the president's AI council, and I got to educate everyone up and down the ladder on every single office on what AI is, what gaming is. And, it gets to be such a draining experience. But have you thought about engaging government like that?
Yep, definitely. So I've actually been in contact with the city of Baltimore and especially with their recreations and park department. And definitely shout out to Baltimore here. They're opening up 4 esports facilities across the city of Baltimore, so different areas. So hoping to get Morgan State University involved, or even myself with this, because this is an excellent opportunity to do exactly what we've been speaking about. So yeah, I'm seeing it now. It's slowly but surely, but also you have different corporations such as Microsoft, who are definitely has been one of our biggest partners, and are committed to making sure that the tech equity gap is being decreased significantly. So they're doing some amazing work when it comes to providing that technology, because it's very expensive. Verizon is also taking those steps because the power of broadband internet, you can't use the little dial-up thing anymore. It's different nowadays. So really just providing people the tech equipment, the resources that they need to really thrive. So this company's doing it, we're behind, but slowly but surely it's getting there.
Yeah, it is taking time. I remember when the pandemic did start and internet access was an issue. It's like a neighborhood about like 25 minutes up north of me. I drive by it every time. And those kids don't even have internet at home. I'm thinking, what is how do you not have, but people don't. It's not about how, you just have to solve the problem. And I think more and more these companies are starting to create their own teams, kind of like how you created your own team. They're starting to create their own teams so that they can essentially close this gap. And some things are easier to close than others. Like we mentioned 3D printers. I mean, one 3D printer will cost you several thousand. I know when our high school, back when I was in high school, when they first got one, I mean, everybody was ecstatic. They were just, it was unbelievable. But, you know, a Switch with Super Smash, that doesn't cost that much. It really doesn't. You can get quite a few of those in a library, and you can do a lot with it.
You know, it's like super frustrating to me is like, you know, I was in this venture capital fellowship year before last, and part of my duties is I went through like all of usaspending.gov to see what they were spending on technology. And I was just like, oh my God, are you serious? The amount of money that the US government, this is federal only, is spending on like redundant, stupid things just because they have the word AI or machine learning or whatever in there. And I'm like, the amount of money that the federal government just bailed people out, spend money or whatever. I mean, like one sliver of that could entirely change the entire trajectory of the American society by just devoting like $1 billion into esports across the country would be unbelievable. That's 1,000 universities getting $1 million, you know, like, and we don't even have 1,000, you know, universities that would even be able to use $1 million in gaming. So
yeah, and just thinking about too with Saudi Arabia, I believe I saw a tournament, $45 million for, I believe it's a Fortnite tournament, something like that. So they're investing heavily into the esports infrastructure, and that's a big sign. You have to be aware of what's happening globally with this. So if they're doing it, then it has to be something there. You know, the proof is in the pudding. So, well, yeah, it's just a matter of really just mindsets. We need a major mindset shift here in America because we're behind the ball.
You know, the Gulf states are just like, they are leaning so far forward, their nose is almost touching the ground on technology, AI. The Emiratis, the Saudis, I mean, they are pouring I mean, Iran is one of the most sophisticated technological companies in the world. They just use it for nefarious reasons. But like, they get it, and they know like this oil stuff, it's going to be gone soon. So we better move into the finance. I mean, the Emiratis did that like a long time ago, move into the financial space. But yeah, 100%. And I think Saudi Arabia is like building this like digital city, and I forget what it's called. I don't know if you guys remember it, but it's going to be all like self-sustained and all that stuff. It's incredible.
I've heard about it. I just don't remember what it was called.
I think it was like all glass, something like that.
Something like that.
Is I'm asking
Chat GPT. Neom. Boom. Good man. Look at you.
From scratch in the Arabian desert. My goodness.
Yeah, and Jordan's very sophisticated too. They are some ninjas over there. Yeah, Neom. Yeah. So I mean, they get it, and here we are, like teaching kids long division still in school. So what's going on? But all right. So what do you think, Bilal? You got any last hits to generate some buzz here, or what are you thinking?
No, I'm good. I think this is one of those things I'm gonna have to really sleep on, but it did further invigorate my passion. I already have a passion for this space, and it just keeps on going up. Whenever I talk to people like yourselves who are making waves within this space, it just gives me more hope that this thing is really going to take off.
And I appreciate it. Definitely. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. And I know that there are a bunch of companies that are not technology, but they are leading in efforts in technology. And those folks have been seeking out pipelines. I mean, like Caterpillar is one of the most technologically advanced companies on the planet. They're the way that they're doing the robotics and their AI and you know, doing farming equipment and all that stuff. And so folks who are watching, who have brains like you, look into some of these companies for partnerships and bringing them into the space. I mean, can you imagine getting Caterpillar to like sponsor an event? I mean, that would be, their return on investment would be incredible on that. So yeah, man, as this is a very cool interview, man. Like you're an awesome dude. I love that you were born out of heroes. That's awesome. You'd be very relevant to our audience, and what you're doing for our youth and the technology space is just absolutely critical, man. I mean, there's going to be books about you and what you've done for this society. even if you have to write it. That's pretty awesome, dude.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, definitely. Like, it's always good to be able to put the information out for people. So did my part. So hopefully someone else does theirs.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And if someone needs to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
So I can be reached everywhere. Tarrin Morgan, TarrinMorgan. Everywhere on social media. I like to keep it nice and easy. Also available on LinkedIn. And also you can reach out to me at realtalksessionseries.org. Going to be doing some rebranding soon, really diving into the esports and digital education space, because we've been doing it already, but I really want to focus in and niche down. So, just really it's all about educating and empowering people.
Excellent. And with that, I appreciate your time and wish you all the luck. And you'll be back here with like your millions of dollars in prize money and grant money here,
Yes.
I'm sure within the next year or so. So thanks, brother. Appreciate it so much. And Warrior Gamer Headquarters podcast.